There's a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart, that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
Wow, a huge populist, blue-collar, working-class uprising calling for collective bargaining. Holy cow, the left must be really excited about this. Right? Honk, honk. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org, and we have a lot of important news to talk about, especially when it comes to the honking, the larger suppression of this movement, and of course its huge popularity, which is only growing from here. What's the latest with them? We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, as well as some interesting business offers to Joe Rogan that were just offered to him, all in this independent media broadcast. But before we do that, plus a lot more, the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was, of course, made by Samuel Rivera. Seriously, I do not know why his videos are getting such low view counts. They are amazing, extremely well put together, worth a watch, worth a subscribe. I don't know what this guy's doing, but he is definitely shadow banned, and there's no way highly produced videos like this could only get 2,000 views. It's crazy. So definitely go check out his work. The link to his channel is down in the description below, and he is definitely worth a follow. Now just jumping right into it, because there's so much news, it's absolutely crazy. Almost as crazy as Stacey Abrams, the democratically loved gubernatorial candidate for Georgia, that decided to take a picture of herself sitting and smiling maskless as dozens of children behind her were forced to do so, exposing once again huge hypocrisy of people telling you what to do and then not doing it themselves. What was Stacey Abrams' response to being caught in this position? Well, of course, it was everyone else's fault. She invoked Black History Month and, of course, deflected, made accusations, and didn't have any accountability. Perfect example of their leadership, as of course it also came out today that Nancy Pelosi has spent nearly $500,000 on private jets since October of 2020. This is the same Nancy Pelosi that tells you that you have a moral obligation to address the changing climate, as of course she lives like a billionaire rock star telling you that you are living beyond your means. It's as almost as politicians in the United States are trying to replicate the policies of China that also routinely virtue signal policies that they have absolutely no consideration to ever follow, just like, you know, the Uyghur skier that was the face of the Chinese Winter Olympics that was disappeared after, of course, she placed 43rd in cross-country skiing. In other human rights violating news, we have this latest allegation from Kyle Kulinski, who sent me this tweet, by the way, because his Joe Rogan interview from 2018 was censored, and he says that he didn't use any kind of slurs in this episode, but he did talk about Saudi Arabia, which Spotify just happened to expand their operations into. What's happening here, I don't know, but Adam Kokesh also claims to have personally talked to Joe Rogan, who he says personally apologized to him after removing his podcast episodes, and according to Adam Kokesh, Rogan told him that he would have him on his show again tomorrow if he could, but, quote, Spotify won't let him. This, as the CEO of Spotify has just come out and said on the record that it was Joe Rogan's personal decision to remove the 71 episodes that were taken down a few days ago, in, of course, a public statement which Dr. Jordan Peterson says is, quote, seriously not good, as, of course, he, quote, deeply apologized for Joe Rogan, but he also said that Joe Rogan does not represent the values of his company, but essentially he did declare that he will not be canceling Joe Rogan, which is interesting, as, of course, the CEO of Rumble has just issued a public statement offering Joe Rogan 100 million reasons to sign up to Rumble, an alternative video platform that is offering Joe Rogan to upload his old, his new, whatever videos he wants with no censorship at all for $100 million over 4 years. Chris Pavlovsky, who I've previously talked to, also said that this is 100 million reasons to make the world a better place. And of course, this public offer is going viral on the internet as many people are saying, Joe Rogan should take this. Odyssey, also another alternative video platform, issued their own statement copying Rumble's, offering Joe Rogan 100 gazillion reasons. Of course, being more facetious, but also offering no censorship on their platform. But I think it's fair to say, especially with the hashtag #IStandWithJoeRogan trending a few hours ago, that alternative independent platforms are definitely the way to go. That's why we started LukeUncensored.com, our very own safe space on the internet where we get to say and do whatever we want. We're going to be releasing yet another video later on today. We're going to be giving out a special giveaway. We're going to be doing meetups, as of course this is our business strategy, not only to expand operations, but to keep our voice safe no matter what happens. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Click the link down in the description below and sign up to Luke Uncensored right now, as today we are specifically going to be talking about the latest conversation started by Bill Maher, as well as some very interesting revelations surrounding the most sinister, nastiest, and disgusting elements of the government that, of course, wants to control your existence. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot of weird stuff later on today, LukeUncensored.com. Hope to see you there. As, of course, we are living through very extraordinary times, especially if you are in Canada supporting the trucker movement, which some people have been categorizing as the honk-apocalypse. The honk-apocalypse, and of course also the great honking. There's honks all around for a blue-collar workers' protest that is calling for the end of the government restricting people's lives and existences. The government's response to blue-collar people coming to them saying that they want to collectively bargain is to, of course, declare a state of emergency, and they have decided to investigate this freedom convoy for alleged hate crimes, as the government is calling these protests, quote, totally out of control, as there already has been an 11-day occupation of protesters inside of Ottawa, with thousands of protesters and trucks shutting down the core of the Canadian capital, as the police there have arrested already 7 people, opened 60 criminal investigations for alleged hate crimes and mischief, and of course also went around and seized fuel and supplies from thousands of vehicles that the government is demanding leave. Now, how will these vehicles leave, especially with government enforcement revenue collection officers, aka police officers, walking around and stealing their fuel? Also, it is very cold in Canada. Stealing propane and fuel from truckers, trying to freeze them out, trying to steal their supplies, is only going to embolden these protesters, as of course this is a cruel, irrational move made by the Canadian authorities that clearly are just blindly following orders by government bureaucrats who want to stop and quell protests. Now, this is a direct response by the government that has been the complete opposite of how the Canadian Ottawa government had responded to the Black Lives Matter protests, which of course was more politically aligned with them, wasn't trying to hold them accountable, and of course they agreed with, so they promoted that protest. When it comes to this freedom convoy, the government of Ottawa is also doing everything in its power to try to stop it, including lobbying GoFundMe to take away the funding for this movement, which GoFundMe adhered to. They were good little order followers of the Ottawa government, and they carried out their orders and destroyed the funding that was supposed to go to legal funding and supplies for these protesters. There was an alternative funding platform on Give, Send, Go started. There was also Bitcoin, which is unconfiscatable, given to these truckers, as of course the state is pulling out all the dirty tricks it can to try to get rid of any kind of accountability and responsibility, as according to Ezra Levant, quote, the truckers have been 100% peaceful, so Trudeau's feds are working around the clock to manufacture an incident to justify a violent state response. This showing a video of a man pretending to be hit by one of the trucks after clearly just staging this entire incident himself. There's also reports coming in of major hotels canceling all bookings for the truckers, saying that they're at capacity, when of course there's video footage showing that they're not. There's accusations that the government is telling these hotels to deny the bookings and appointments made by individuals wanting to stay there. And there's this brazen video of order followers, jackboot officers, declaring that they will, of course, institute a policy that will try to shut these protests down by stealing their supplies, which, of course, the cops unquestionably did, which, again, is only going to prolong this incident and spark more outrage and hatred against the state. The jackboot revenue collectors for Ottawa, the Ottawa police officially on Twitter, also announced that, quote, anyone attempting to bring material, supplies, gas to the demonstrators could be subject to arrest, as the protesters decided to respond by coming out with cans of gas today, specifically in a major act of civil disobedience, highlighting how absolutely ridiculous this policy is. As you can see the videos in front of me, a lot of people are blatantly saying no. This is a ridiculous policy that, of course, we're not going to be following, because arresting people for giving fuel to other people is ridiculous. I mean, imagine being the government saying, oh, there's a whole bunch of people protesting us, demanding accountability, demanding some policies, demanding a seat at the table so we could work together and represent their issues that they want passed. What's the government's response to that? Bringing the police officers and steal their stuff. What? What kind of response is that? That's an immature, knee-jerk, childish reaction that, of course, is absolutely ridiculous. The Toronto Star decided to run a poll on their website, which is absolutely ridiculous, asking the question, does Ottawa have a right to declare a state of emergency? Specifically asking people no, people have a right to protest, and then yes, it could give the city the power it needs to quell protests, which, of course, overwhelmingly on this online poll was voted down 91% to 7%. Yeah, tyranny is not good. People don't want tyranny. People don't want top-down centralized control of their existence. And there's only a small minority of unhinged leftist lunatics that, with the help of big tech social media, with the help of government bots, look like they have more of a voice and are represented by more people than they actually are when they're not. These are the same people that have been arguing, the small minority that has been arguing that life should be made as difficult as possible for people who don't follow government orders, that now are screaming and crying about people honking their horns. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't have any sympathy here. What will the Canadian government do here? Well, we're going to see, but as the government has been responding here, it's more likely that they're going to continue with their ridiculous, childish, draconian, totalitarian World Economic Forum policy influenced directives, which of course they're going to be following to a T, which is very interesting, especially with truckers being the backbone of any society. How will this larger protest unfold? Well, only time will tell. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below, as of course some countries in the European Union have even decided that lockdowns and restrictions could be in place for yet another year, even though the number of cases has dramatically gone down, as we were telling you it will go down. We make very few predictions, but this one is looking like it's absolutely right on the money. We're talking about that, plus a lot more on LukeUncensored.com. We're going to be doing another video, which I hope to see you there. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively participating and spending your time with me here making this video. Sharing this video, liking this video, commenting this video means the world to me. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.